Sometimes in life, the voice of change calls you. You know deep inside, it's time for change. I just finished a 3-day wedding gig. I was exhausted, not just from the wedding gig, but from my life. And that voice of change had been whispering to me, and now it was getting louder and louder. Psst, hey, Lindsay, have you thought about moving out of your expensive San Rafael rental? You and your husband could move into your parents' house. You know how they leave every 6 months to go south for 6 months in Tucson? You could downsize your stuff, buy a tiny home, and travel the country. Could I really make such a change? Oh, I'm not required to go to San Francisco daily anymore. I've always dreamed of the freedom of being a digital nomad. But could I really leave my community? Girlfriend, it's time to do this thing. You've been dreaming of homeownership for so long. I know your community means a lot to you, but 1.5 hours is not that far. Don't let your love of community block you from your dreams. You've got to trust. Trust, let go, and be brave. Oh, and call your husband. Okay. Hey, love. What if we didn't have to pay any more rent? Let me explain. So you know how my mom and dad are leaving their Ukiah home to go to their Tucson home? What if we moved out of our rental into their home for like 6 months, we'll downsize our stuff, and get a tiny home? I thought I'd give him some time to think it over. So the next morning I call him. Hey, love, did you think about what we talked about yesterday? You know, moving out of our place and getting a tiny home? What do you think? He said yes! Yes, we're going tiny. This was not the first time in my life that I experienced big changes. Growing up as an Army brat, from birth to age 10, my family and I moved 5 times. Changes in my DNA. I remember being a child and saying lots of goodbyes. Goodbye, Mill Valley. Goodbye, Germany. Goodbye, San Antonio. Hello, West Point. Tanya, I love that you have a trampoline in your backyard. 5 years later, my dad gets reassigned to Missouri. Goodbye, Tanya. I'm going to miss jumping around on the trampoline and playing horses with you. This was the first real heartache I had ever felt. I remember as my family and I got into our green van, nicknamed Jolly the Green Giant. That van was the full 70s works, wall-to-wall green shag carpet, a bed that converted into a table. We even had a porta potty. All of this way before bougie van conversions were even a thing. We had been in Missouri for 3 months. I met a new friend, Brianna. We hiked in the woods, had fun decorating my room purple. We were best friends until one day, the giant moving truck pulled up. And this time, Brianna was the kid that had to move. Goodbye, Brianna. I'm going to miss hiking in the woods and giggling over boys with you. We had been in Missouri for a full year when I got the news we were moving to California. I had yet to know of the great oceans, mountains, and tall redwoods. We were moving to a town called Ukiah? No, honey, Ukiah. That's my mom. She taught me all I know about being brave and letting go. Honey, if you haven't used it in 2 years, let it go. It's just clutter. That's my mom. She's a little OCD on keeping things tidy, but there's a whole lot of value to some good organization. You know the phrase, everything has its place and everything in its place. Back before Eric and I made the choice to go tiny, we explored many options in the pursuit of owning our own home. One of those options was buying undeveloped land that we could build our dream home on. Hey, Eric, what do you think about putting the home, the shipping container, the one we saw on YouTube? We could put it right here, And then we'll put the ADU over here. What does ADU stand for?
Accessory dwelling unit?
Yes, accessory dwelling unit right there. And up there on the hill, we'll have the events, the gatherings.
You mean underneath the eucalyptus trees?
Yes, under the eucalyptus trees. Oh, and then down around the house, we'll have a big outdoor deck and a barbecue and a kitchen because you love to cook. Oh my gosh.
Hey, honey, what do we need to know about water, sewer, and electricity?
I don't know. We'll figure it out, right? Won't we? As we walked the property, this undeveloped property with Realtor John, hearing us dream up this future life, he turned to me and said, "Be brave." His words stopped me in my tracks. I don't know if you know, but dreams are abundant, but developing undeveloped land is a whole different journey. I am so glad we got outbid on that property because we had no idea what we were getting into. But that left us back at the drawing board. Back to my opening scene. Where were we? Psst. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, girl. We got to pack it up. We got to get this show on the road. So get packing. Let's go. Forget about the developing property idea. Forget about the shipping container idea. Go, 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 go. Okay. So in November 2017, we packed and we packed. And we packed. You know, it just never ends, the packing. But the plants were so hard to let go of. So I gave them away to friends. Goodbye, Peperomia. I loved how you greeted me every morning. This one needs a lot of light. Goodbye, Maranta. I loved your green, fluffy leaves. This one needs good soil. Goodbye, Rose Azimuth. I loved your pink leaves. This one needs a lot of light and soil. It's very high maintenance. Letting go of things is no easy task, but it's a practice I've honed through the years. After all, my mom was all about garage sales. Honey, if you haven't used it in 2 years, let it go. It's just clutter. But Mom, not everything has to go if you haven't used it in 2 years. Like this life board game, it's timeless. You haven't used that game in like 10 years. Hey, Lindsay, you sure you want to let that game go? What about your community? You know, the ones that you've been building all these years? You want to let that go? What if this doesn't work out? Goodbye, life board game. Don't lose the pieces. There's lots of pieces. Goodbye, Mount Tam. Goodbye, Aroma Roasters. Goodbye, Women's Circle. Goodbye, Sausalito Dance Floor. Goodbye, Marin Community. 9 truckloads later, my husband and I arrive at my parents' house, and we dumped it all in their home. Eric, how do we end up with 85 kitchen utensils? We need to rethink the knowledge we drink. We use the ability to refuse, recycle that energy spent day after day, reduce the innermost desire to light that consuming fire. And when you're done with that, we need to reorganize those books on your shelf, clothes in your closet, junk in your drawer, and don't go looking for more. Fast forward, it's 2024, and I am living my best life in the pursuit of building more houses in the form of modular and movable tiny homes. And it's not just about the tiny, tiny homes on wheels. It's about accessory dwelling units for families and backyards. It's about transforming this housing crisis. And fortunately, I'm not alone. Me and an army of housing advocates are finding creative ways to build the 2.5 million homes needed here in California. And who's going to benefit? Parents who want to age in place, single moms and dads who want to send their kid to college, people who are spending 30% or more of their income on housing, and the veterans who are spending all that time in serving the wars and can't afford to keep a roof over their head. Who here would like to reduce rent? Who would like to maybe travel more? How about retire earlier than planned? Who here would like to play the Tiny Home Price is Right game show? All right, woo! Let's go. Ta-da-da-da. All right, here we go. Up here we have 3 homes. 3 homes and 3 prices. And whoever chooses the one gets to win a tiny home. Who's excited about that? Woohoo! So we have in San Diego, 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo, 3-bedroom, 2-bath duplex in Kansas City, and a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Palo Alto. We have $200,000, $499,000, $1,399,000. I'm going to take the first one, $200,000. Where do you think that goes? Kansas City. All right. People already know their real estate. $499,000. San Diego. People really know their real estate. And Palo Alto. Is that the last? Boom. Congratulations. You've won a tiny home. Woo! Traveling back to that time when Eric and I made the decision to go tiny, there we were at the Arlington, Texas Tiny Home Jamboree. It had been 3 days of touring tiny homes, and we found our perfect builder on the last day, a builder from Utah.
Hey, honey, how are we going to pay for all this?
We could finance it. Oh, I know. Your parents always said they would help us with housing, and you know, a tiny home is almost like a down payment in this market. If we don't ask, the answer is no. Right, and they said, yes. We're really going tiny now. We have the builder. We have the money. We don't need the land because we're going to travel. All we need next is the design. Eric, what do you think about a drop-down patio? And then we'll have the rooftop deck. And inside the bedroom, we'll have a Murphy bed to save space. And who here loves a bathtub? My bathtub people out there? Yeah. Oh, yes, got to have a bathtub. Oh, I know. We'll have a rock climbing wall on the outside so we can stay fit while traveling on the road. Everything is looking good. Joanne, the assistant at Utah Tiny Home Builders, was so helpful. Okay, so Joanne, you've already designed everything, and all we need to design now with a 3D plan is the kitchen and the bathroom. Awesome. Joanne would give me updates. Oh, Joanne, I love the 3D designs. They look so great. 2 months goes by. The home is looking so awesome. I see the framing. It's huge. I can't believe we're going to drive that around the country. Everything seemed to be going just great until I didn't hear from Joanne after 2 weeks. I get concerned. My Scooby sense is heightened. So I called the boss, Andrew, the guy we met at the Tiny Home Jamboree. Hey, Andrew. So I've left a number of messages for Joanne, and she's not getting back to me. Is everything okay? What? You're going out of business? You want us to come pick up our unfinished tiny home? In Utah? In 2 days? Eric! See what happens when you leave everything you know? Hey, I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. I know choosing this path has had its sacrifices. But you know what? These roadblocks and bumps have not been roadblocks at all. They've been character building events and skill building too. Psst. Hey, Lindsay, remember me, sweetheart? Life is far from perfect. But as you get clear on your dreams, be brave about whatever life puts in front of you. And remember, turn those lemons into lemonade.